Oh, okay. Yeah, he can take his time.
Okay.
He can take his time. What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Soul Effect, Rashali for the R&B Talks. You know, Mr. Podcast host and the DJ and stuff. You know, excuse me about the background. I had to take down the video background and still working on something different. but but besides all that, man, just how's everybody doing so far? You know, what I'm saying tonight and everything. You know, they're gonna have a good one. You know, what I'm saying. You know, what I'm saying got the Grammy winner, got the R&B legend Q Parker for 112. But besides all that, man, hope everybody's, enjoying their day and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And everything. You know, I definitely am. Miss V in the house. Katina Ann, what's going on? What's going on? Your stuff. Yeah, but coming soon, I'm gonna change my back drop to like a dope music video drop. It's coming soon. Right now, this is just temporary, you know what I'm saying? For the moment and stuff. And man, I tell you one thing though, these months are flying by quick. Here it is. Halloween's coming up. Then after that, we got Thanksgiving on the rise and stuff. So looking forward to that and everything. But yeah, I told everybody at Mama, I said, please, I gotta hop on, you know what I'm saying, the RB talk show on YouTube. 'Cause it's crazy. You can have like a gig of followers on one platform, and then it's like when people see it, it's like day and night. They don't pay attention to the logo, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but if you post something that was something else, they will gravitate towards that. So it's crazy, man, how that goes and stuff. But yeah, looking forward to interviewing the brother. And man, you know what I'm saying? Let's definitely, man, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? But besides all that, man, just can't wait, you know what I'm saying, to get these holidays out the way and stuff like that. You know, of course, I got a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my youngest one is due in December. You know what I'm saying? January the 5th.
What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Man, I can't call. How about yourself?
Oh man, shoot, dude, just trying to get over these allergies, man. You know, saying living here in the Midwest, tell you, man, it's crazy, man. Like 1 minute, man, be nice outside, next minute be cool. And I thought to myself, I said, nah, man, like let me take some medicine, man. I gotta get it right, man. This is the most important interviews of my career.
Yeah, man. Nah, I appreciate you taking your time out to talk to me, dude. Even though you under the weather a little bit. But yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. I've been a fan of yours, man, like 30 years. You know, since I was a teenager. You know, since I was
Wow.
like 13, 14 years old in the
Wow.
game.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Because
that means a lot, man. That means a lot to me. I look at it like, I didn't get here alone. Obviously, I had my brothers that contributed to this 30-year career. But the most important component to this 30-year and the longevity is the fans, those that have supported the group as well as me. We don't get here alone. You all have purchased CDs. Well, I go back. You guys purchased cassettes, then you purchase CDs, then you purchase the vinyls. Now you're downloading and streaming even to this day. And so, yeah, you're thanking me, but man, my thanks have to go to you all for supporting me and my brothers for so long.
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, man. I tell you, man, because you guys definitely influenced a lot of young men, in high school. Was y'all was like Joe and she doing this shit. Everybody was trying to create a boy band in high school, even though it didn't last long on my end.
Yeah.
you know, some could sing, some couldn't sing and say their life and stuff. But I want to talk about your new project, say called Evolution of Romance Value One, and the leading single called Keep On Lovin'. How did the like what was the choice of what would be the best lead single for this new album?
So the first single from the album was Big. Uh, and so the way Big came about was it was a conversation of myself and my production team and us trying to figure out where is a lane we can occupy. Where is there some space where it's not heavily saturated that we can kind of find our way in and just sit there for a while. And what we identified was, R&B male artists weren't begging anymore. There was no sensuality in the records. There was no dating and courting and the I guess the coyness. I don't know if that's a word, but that song and dance, that mystery of love and romance in the music that we were hearing, and we identified that that's where we need to be. And so we made the word beg into an acronym, bringing endless gratitude to your partner. And then from beg came keep on loving. And so when you think about the totality of this evolution of romance volume one, it's really just a conversation surrounding romance. It is having the difficult conversation with a song like Rundown. Then there's the man telling the woman, yo, I'll beg for you. But then there's the Keep On Loving song that says, hey, we'll ride this thing out as long as we both just love each other throughout the peaks and the valleys. Let's just keep on loving. But then there's a song on the record that's called Triple F. Fuck me, feed me, and be my fan, because that's the male's anthem of the man saying to the woman, if you master those three things, I'll give you whatever you want. And then, just kind of going down the line, there's some other songs with thought-provoking titles, but they all connect to romance.
Yeah. What I like about your album, man, it took it back to the old school where you got the intro, the romance intro, man. Then
Yeah.
when I listened to it, I was like, artists don't do that anymore. I said, I miss the days you had the intro, the interlude, and the outro out.
Yeah.
What inspired you to kind of like bring back that nostalgia for this project?
That's how I was raised, man. I was raised. If you listen to any of the old 112 albums, you never just heard songs. It was always carefully crafted and put together. And I got to give Tim and Bob, Deron Jones, Puffy, Stevie J, Mario Winans, all of those guys, Arnold Hennings, that helped us put together those first couple of albums that were continuous plays. And that was our motto. We want to create albums that you could just, your Saturday morning cleaning, where you can just press play and clean your whole house and just
Yeah.
rock with us, without having to, well, let me put the broom down because I don't really like this song. Let me skip this one. But just press play and just go. And so those things have carried me. And the best way to have a continuous play album is to have segues and ties, interludes that, makes the shift. Because sometimes you have a ballad and you go straight to a up tempo, or you have an up tempo, you go straight to a ballad. Well, what's that transition? It's just like when you performing on a live show. You don't just cut it off, go to the next song, cut it off, go to the next song. There's a musical connectivity and connection that segues one song to the next.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because that's what I like about intros and interludes, because it builds like the story, the bulkness, the album. You hear something, you about like, so about to get ready to this song, pop
Yeah.
on and stuff like that. I
Oh yeah.
agree, man, because I was telling one of my boys on the phone, I was like, if people would have paid attention to Secret Garden interlude and listen to it, go straight to the actual song, that was giving us like, yeah, hey, this is like a Paramount like anticipation coming up and
Exactly.
everything and stuff. And I thought to myself, I said, man, by the time your album drops, which is next month, November the 4th, right?
14th.
14th. There's a song on there, man. I had to keep looking. I said, I know I got my glasses. I said, I know when I say things. It said the last track on the album is called Threesome. And I said, oh
Yes.
boy, here we go.
Wait, is that on my end?
Yep. The end. Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. So yeah, it's so funny you say that, Shot. So I was playing the album earlier today with some executives, and the female in the room said, "Man, how you gonna end an album talking about romance with a song called Threesome?" And I didn't even respond. I just said, just listen and just just wait a second. And but the song is more than just what the title says. The song is really about the ultimate threesome is making love, mind, body, and your soul and your spirit. It's not the original definition of the word threesome, which it was a play on words. I want it to be something that will grab your eye, but also I want the curiosity to grab you in a way that you say, hmm. And so when we were playing the song earlier, by the time the cat was let out the bag and it really explained what the ultimate threesome is of romance, everybody was like, Ah, I see what you did there. So you know, mission was accomplished. I want you to look at the title and be like, what? What's that about? But then once you get into the song, it brings it all home.
Yeah, man, because when I thought to myself, I said, man, he's definitely getting all kinds of feedback, by the time his album drops and stuff from
Yeah,
critics, journalists. I mean, you name it and everything, It is good to be different, especially, you as a solo artist and people know you by from, your group and everything, and bring people to your world. I said, but dude, this is a
yeah,
great concept, man. I don't
yeah.
think, it's crazy how some artists go solo and it takes maybe a couple tune-ups for them to finally find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Far as like, okay, I'm gonna let people into my world. This is what I want to talk about. And a lot of times some people don't have a direction unless they finally figured out, okay, I know where I'm at this moment.
And you're so right, but that's the reason why it took me 12 years between solo projects. My last record was released in 2012, and here we are. My first single from this particular project was last year in 2024, so 12 years. But like you said, I'm the type of musician that I can do music any day because it just flows through my veins like that, and I'm gifted enough to be able to just turn out music if I if and when I please. But I don't think that's the most effective. And so when I told you earlier, we sat down to figure out what is a lane that we can occupy. And once we identified that lane, the lane of providing romance and pushing romance, we locked in on it and was able to deliver this evolution of romance, volume one.
I love the music video, Keep On Loving. I said, man, it's like smooth, you know what I'm saying? It's like you and the lady and stuff. Who came with the video treatment? Did you already had it ready in your mind? Like, okay, this is what I want to try to do, or you had a different idea before you settled with that one?
Well, obviously, man, conceptually when I create the songs, I'm a visual person. I write from my fantasies. I write from my creativity, from the visions that I have. And so in writing the song, I knew that I wanted the song to show the sun and the water and the beach, and I wanted there to be a storyline of man and woman just kind of just loving each other. But I had an amazing director, Greg Williams. He goes by G Visuals out of Atlanta, and he's been a partner of mine for all of my music videos, even the album from 2012. And so I'm really excited to even announce to you. I haven't said this to anybody, but there will be a visual album released in January with all of the songs having visuals to them.
Wow. I want to take it all the way back for you, your upbringing. As a kid, what was the dreams you wanted to be as a child? Besides the sick, was there any like sports, you wanted to play, or music was always, your thing growing up as a kid, as far as like like singing in church or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, great question, man. So yeah, I grew up in the church and I played four sports in high school. I was a four-star letterman, football, basketball, track, and tennis. And no matter what I did, man, music was always the foundation. I was known on all of my teams as the singing dude because I'd be playing football and get tackled and be humming. I'm dribbling down the basketball court doing runs and riffs because music is my coping mechanism. When I'm
Yeah.
happy, I sing. When I'm sad, I sing. When I'm upset, I sing. It music always gets me in a very calm place. And so, regardless of whatever my career choice would have been, music would have been very, very close to it. I think I would have been able to create something that would have connected me, remain would have assisted me in being connected to music. I don't know if that was a music teacher, a music professor, or whatever the case may be. I would still be a singer some way somehow.
If you didn't have the passion for music, and as far as when it comes to sports or basketball, what NBA team could you possibly see yourself, playing for?
Shoot, whoever whoever would have seen some interest in me, and to be honest, man, I was really really good. I was better in football than basketball. I had a full ride scholarship to Clemson University.
Yeah.
It was a what do you call it when it's not a one thing? What do you call it? Like a multi scholarship? What do you call it? What do you call it? Like a I don't know, but it was three partial scholarships that equal the full ride. So I had a partial academic, partial athletic, and partial music scholarship that equal the full ride to Clemson. However, the summer before going to school is when we got the record deal, and so my decision was chance of a lifetime. School will always be there. You can always go back, and so it turned out to be the best decision of my life because I've never had this is my only job I've ever had.
Absolutely. Uh, where did you meet the fellas before y'all became like 112, the group?
Yeah. We all met collectively in middle school. My parents, I lived on another side of Atlanta, and my parents moved in this particular area where Slim, Mike, and Duran were all residents of. And so I met them in seventh grade, Crawford Loan Middle School. We all matriculated to the local high school, the area high school, and that's when the four members, as you all were introduced to 112, that's when we became a group because the original Forte, which was our original name,
Yeah.
consisted of five members. Two older guys graduated, which left Mike, Slim, and Duran, and then I later joined as a junior in high school, and that's when we started building the buzz. And my senior year, we got the record deal.
Wow. Now, before y'all got signed, did y'all have songs before that, like recorded, that was never like you had never had the opportunity to put out?
Yeah, there were. So before we were signed to Bad Boy, we had a 90-day agreement with Dallas Austin. And in those 90 days, Tim and Bob were assigned to us. And so we recorded some songs. One of our very first recording sessions was with Dave Hollister. But none of those songs ever came out. They were just like practice reps, getting our shots up. And so that when we did get the record deal, those early days prepared us for when Puffy and Bad Boy, we signed the record deal, moved to New York, and then it was time to like put up or shut up.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember seeing the debut music video, Only You, on it was on Video Soul. And I
Hmm.
remember seeing that. And I was like, man, I mean, it's like I said, yo, this song's a hit right here. And man, you could not go nowhere because it was y'all. You know, it was oh god, it was like Total. Then of course you had like a bunch of hip hop music in between. You know, you had like you had D'Angelo, R.I.P. I mean, you had
Yeah,
rotation. When you saw yourself on that album cover with your brothers, what was kind of going through your mind? Like, dang, man, this is actually me in front of this
man.
album cover.
That was there were a few mama we made it moments. That was obviously one of them. The first one would be hearing our song on Hot 97 in New York for the first time, and all of us hovering around the little radio cassette player to hearing the song. But when you have the physical CD in your hand with your image on it, it's just like wow, that was a monumental occurrence for us, an occasion for us because we were able to just look at and just relish the moment of all of the hard work. And it took us a year and a half to record that first album.
Wow. Man, I couldn't even imagine though. Usually I know some people it doesn't make sense, but I heard some people it takes 2 years, 6 months, depending on, say how they feel and everything and stuff,
Yeah.
what's going on. I heard this all the time. I always ask artists this, when you perform on Soul Train, because on TV, like it was big,
Hmm.
and then you get on stage like, damn, look like it sound a regular house or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your thoughts, for going up watching as a kid every Saturday at 12 to actually being on TV performing on there?
Man, just being in awe of Don Cornelius, standing next to him when we've watched him on TV for so many years, and then finally, it's our opportunity to be on a stage that so many legends before us graced, and that's a moment in and of itself. Just standing there, soaking that all the way in, like the Jackson Five was on this stage. The Temptations. I don't know if it goes back that far, but Soul Train when would you say Soul Train started? In the 70s, maybe?
I want to say in the
Maybe
70s.
this late 60s, 70s. And so
In the
think
70s.
about all of the artists that graced the Soul Train stage before 1996 or 97 when 112 stood on the stage. And so to be able to share the same stage that so many of our influencers stood on, that in itself was a milestone. And then you have this entity icon in Don Cornelius standing there. Man, it
1970.
like, yeah, 1970. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, dude.
Oh man, I would know how to act, man. I can only imagine you see come to you and say, "Hey, fellas, how you guys
The
doing?"
good
Nobody,
thing about
well,
the good thing about Soul Train, for those that may not know, you could not perform live.
all
Soul
pre-recorded.
Train, yeah, it was always pre-recorded, and you would just have to lip sync, right?
Wow.
And so that helped ease our nerves because I think being as young as we were, we never shied away from a performance. So I know we would have shown up and did what we were supposed to do. But again, taking in all of that, Don Cornelius there, the audience right there, uh, it helped us a lot that we didn't have to worry about delivering really, really good vocals because Soul Train only allowed you to lip sync.
Here it is. You got a top song. All over the Billboard charts, music video, heavy rotation, BT, VH1, MTV. Back then, we still had the box. So it was Friday night videos, things like that. Um, did like some of your friends, I don't know if you stayed in contact with them, did they kind of look at you different, like, hey, man, I would never thought that, man. I mean, the same dude that I was going to school with, our neighborhood play around, but he's actually, really doing it.
Yeah, it was it was a really great moment. I had some friends that really, really supported me. Um, and I was proud to represent my neighborhood. I was proud to represent, where I came from. Not only my neighborhood, but my family too. Because if you think about it, there at that time, and I'm just doing some rough numbers, there could have been hundreds of thousands of groups rehearsing in their garage and in their basement the same time we were. And to be one out of however many, man, that to me that says that that was part of your calling, your destiny. Because how do you get chosen to represent as a male R&B group when I know for a fact in just Atlanta alone, because we would perform against groups all the time in talent shows,
Mhm.
to be the one, to be one of the many. I never took that lightly, and so yeah, I was so proud to represent my neighborhood and my community, and my family. But I was just really also proud that we accomplished something that the percentages were not favorable, and so just really could
Right.
enjoy that moment.
Absolutely. After that, a couple months later, you put out the remix, with Biggie Smalls, R.I.P. Um, what was it like? Was you in the studio with him when he recorded, or he did his part and that came together? By the time you guys did a video shoot.
Yeah, so with Only You, the song was recorded, and we came in the studio one day, and Puffy and our managers were like, "Yo, come in the studio." And I'm thinking that Big at that time, Big had just laid down his rap, and so we in the studio. They play it, and I mean, Jesus, the notorious, just please us with your lyrical thesis. Man, it was the perfect assist. And a lot of my peers, they'll always say, "Man, y'all had the cheat code. 112 had the cheat code because y'all had Puffy and y'all had Big on y'all first single," which was really the greatest introduction because for Big to stamp us and give us his approval, that we where some artists may have started at level 1 because of his endorsement, we started at level 5.
Right.
And that's something that you can't um, ignore, something that I'll never not recognize because him being on the record catapulted us, and it said to people, y'all should really rock with these guys because Big rock with these guys. And that turned out to have been one of the greatest moves that Puffy did, and he was a genius in that, in using one artist to introduce the next artist. And so, Big introduced Total, Big introduced 112, 112 introduced Mace, Mace introduced Carl Thomas. Carl Thomas had a song with Faith Evans, Faith Evans introduced. So it was just a great way to leverage one artist to introduce or to big up the next artist.
After putting out Come See Me October 1986 and the last single, Cupid, that was like, man, like you could go nowhere without hearing that song
Yeah,
all through 97 around that time. Um, and then of course, around the time, Biggie, he the passing of it. Now,
yeah,
leading up, to this situation, we done heard stories all over YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Recording a song, I'll be missing you. Was you in a full state of mind recording that?
recording "I'll Be Missing You" was really tough, because it's like the big brother of the label is no longer here. And you have to think about it. When 112 signed to Bad Boy, there were, we call it the starting five. It was Craig Mack, Biggie, Faith Total, and 112. And Big was like the big brother to all of us. I can recall times where, as a teenager moving to New York and not having any money because all we had was our per diem, which didn't last long. Yeah, the big brother in big fashion. Every time he saw us, "Are y'all good? Did y'all eat today? Matter of fact, go order something and put it on my bill. Here go $100 for all y'all. Do y'all have coats? Man, take these boys down to the village and get them a coat, because during that year was the '96 blizzard in New York, and so we coming from down south. We don't really own big Parker down, big down coats or whatever. And like that was just the way that he was. He always made sure to take care of his little brothers and sisters and label mates. And so obviously him passing was just like, the ultimate big brother no longer being here. So that was a tough one. And even recording "I'll Be Missing You" was just really, it was really tough on all of us because our brother is no longer with us.
Yeah. 1988, you guys won a Grammy, for this song and stuff and everything. So after, because it's very rare to win a Grammy. Of course, there's a lot of politics and everything else and stuff. But fast forward up to the second album, Route 112. Um, in your mind, you thought to yourself, so okay, we did this and everything. I want to write. Did you have the freedom to write songs, or that was kind of like pushed back?
Oh no, one of the reasons why Puffy liked us and signed us was not only because of the way we sang, but he knew early on that we were a self-contained unit. We had a producer in the group in Duran, and we all were songwriters, and we all sang lead. And at the time, I don't think that there was a more solid, self-contained group that had been out. And so from day one, we were songwriters. We have writing credits on all of our albums. There were a lot of the albums we started the idea and then would go to New York, and then Puffy would bring in the hitman to add to the foundation that we set. And so songwriting and publishing and all those things were something that we did from the beginning. So yeah, we had opportunities to write the date from day one and first album.
Oh man, that's rare, man. Usually it'd be like, well, wait after like third, fourth album, then you guys go ahead and say and do that. Now, I tell you though, I remember when the second album came out and stuff, and posters was like everywhere, man. I was working for this promoting company and stuff, and I said, yeah, I gotta get this, man. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as that the first single, Love Me, came out, man, I just gravitated to it and stuff. What was your mindset during that second album after having success from the first one?
Yeah, man. No pressure, but here come the sophomore. What do they call it? Sophomore slump or the sophomore jinx?
Yeah, talk more Jinx or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. So we took our time to make sure that we let people know that we weren't a one hit or one album wonder. And I think yeah, the bar was set because Only You performed
Yeah,
incredibly. Cupid was a huge success, but then we come with Love Me, that was the first single to from the second album, and it did okay. And so people were ready to count us out, like, sophomore jinx, and then here we come with Anywhere, and then Anywhere just like goes all the way up the charts. Then we come with Love You Like I Did, um, another great R&B record, and so we were just relieved that people really love the second album, and as much as people love our first album, I personally think one of our better albums was the second, Room 112.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just hearing that, man, it's like you guys in y'all bag, man. You guys created a second album and stuff, man. And I remember when the single and the video Anywhere came out. And man, I tell you, dude, man, dude. I mean, BT dude promote the heck out of that MTV. I mean, you could not go nowhere, man. And
Shout out to
I tell you,
Hollywood.
you guys are definitely responsible of bringing in Little Zane, as a feature and stuff. How did that formation came about to get like a rapper as a guest on there?
The Little Zane collab came from the relationship that he and our manager had, Kevin Wells. Kevin Wells was also managing Lil Zane at the time, and we all thought that maybe we should put a rapper on the tail end of this song. And Z, man, he just fit so perfectly. He added an element to the song that was needed, and just as much as the lyrics and the melodies of Anywhere, Z too hot to stop. So we're going from the bedroom to the floor. We can do it with the miss you and I don't talk.
Yeah.
Like his rhyme is so synonymous with the sound of the song Anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, everybody was like looking forward to that stuff. And I remember, I think I might have saw you perform on TV one day, man. And like the crowd just exploded with that
Mm-hmm.
song that Zay came on stage. I don't know what Showtime Paula. It was some, I know it was the BT one or two, but everybody just went bananas over that, man, when they first heard it
Yeah.
and stuff. Uh, fast forward up 3 years later, say the next album, part three.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a original album title for that, or y'all had like a different mindset?
Ah,
You know,
mm. This is the third time doing this, and so this is part three of this story. And
uh,
man, we had a mindset going into part three album, like we the shit, and we really about to let everybody know. And so if you think about the records that were on the part three album, the first single, It's Over Now, was a number one record at radio. And then we come with Dance With Me, then Peaches and Cream, the global worldly hit.
yeah,
And then records that weren't singles but were fan favorites, records like I'm a Player. And that part three album really catapulted us into another stratosphere in terms of our reach because the song was just so big.
yeah. Because I tell you, you guys are so big. To a point where I was like, if you had to name what was some of the greatest groups came from the '90s, like you got to put 112 on that list, man. With Boys
Got
to
to,
Men, Jodeci,
got you got to. There's
anybody
no
that
way,
had
no
like
way
back
you
to
can
back
omit. Yeah, there's
success
no
and
way you
stuff.
can omit 112 when you're talking about the greatest groups of all time, R&B groups of all time. There's no way.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff, And here it is, Peach the Cream, say it was like on the top 40 for 25 consecutive weeks. Come
Oh
on,
yeah,
man.
oh yeah.
you know,
Song
and
just
I
die.
and I tell you, you fellas, man, gave a lot of artists that was hot at the time a hard time trying to go number one that year between '01 '02 because those like two most biggest records, say out of the three, man, that's saying a lot and everything. Now, 2 years later, another album, she guys dropped Hot and Wet.
Hmm.
So what was your mindset at, come from a success for this album? Like it's more like, okay, let's make another round. Let's see where this album could go at.
Just continue to tell the story. We every album we I think we grew as men, as musicians, and I think we did a great job of doing the music that showcased where we were in our lives. And the Hot and Wet album was just another layer, and it was just another extension and interpretation of just where we were in our lives and where we were musically. And some great records was on that Hot and Wood album too. And it allowed us to go over to Jamaica, shoot the video to Na 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 with Supercat. Um, so yeah, I'm just really proud of all of the albums that we were able to record because they all can stand on their own. It's some of the greatest songs from an R&B male group. And you're right. You can't tell the legacy of R&B groups without mentioning 112 because our body of work speaks for itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, fast forward up, say, after like, so you got into your zone as an artist, you thought to yourself like, okay, people saw me, do my thing with the group, okay, I want to see where I'm at mentally, like what would Q Parker talk about and stuff. So what was your mindset at? Was you kind of get a writer's block of what you want to create, probably reinvent yourself as a solo artist?
Yeah, that season was tough because I had grown so accustomed to being in a group and fulfilling my part of what made the group's engine go. And then when I decided to do the solo movement, had to realize really quickly that I didn't have teammates, so I didn't have my brothers that I could pass the microphone or pass the baton to, and that was uncharted territory for me, and so I was very reluctant, very hesitant to really just go all the way in. And they just was one day when I said, "Yo, man, just forget it. Like, let's go all the way there. Spend time with your instrument. Spend time with yourself. Learn yourself. Even just learn to love what you sound like without the other guys." And that allowed me to grow. And so the guy that you hear and see today is battle tested because I had to go through some soul searching and some self identifications and some reflections so that I can peel back all the layers to really get to the authentic Q Parker. So I can stand with you today, knowing that I've done the work, knowing that I have put the time in, and I'm super, super proud of what I have been able to accomplish and what I will be able to accomplish, what I will accomplish.
Absolutely and stuff. Yeah, because looking at the very first project, the manual, and then looking at your project, that's like I see more peace, I see more seeds, I see more growing, evolving in you and stuff. And I was like, wow, I was like, if the 2012 version of yourself see this, that he'd be like, wow, man, this is where I'm at. Hey, man, let's keep put out this heat. You know what I'm saying? I like this future self of myself.
Yeah.
That's going on. Um, I was looking at your artistry of all your singles, man. Like you put out singles back to back, back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, show you how, say goodbye, get to you. I'm like, man, this brother here was on the Steve roll and stuff. Uh, I remember last year you put out a song called Bag.
Hmm.
And I was on Facebook and I see it in the algorithm. I said, y'all gotta check this song out. I said, man, this joint is hot, man. I was, like, how did you come with that joint right there?
Again, like I said earlier, just being in the lab with my brothers and just wanting to occupy the space of begging and bringing that on to the records and bringing it back into the industry so that it can be heard over the airways. I'm just really proud of
Right.
people receiving it, especially coming off of the hiatus that I had been on, and to just come out the box with a top five record. Man, it just meant a lot to me, and it gave me the confidence that I needed to say, "Yo, we can do this," and stay committed, and we're not going anywhere. And so that was 16 months ago, and we're still here, promoting new music, and then getting ready to release the full EP, Evolution and Romance, Volume One.
Yeah. So with this project you got, is there like a list of like, okay, I want to shoot like say like 5 videos or 4 videos with this, like, say like the concepts and everything. Is it like ready your head, like, okay, we got this out. What will be the second follow? What will be the third follow up?
Yeah, we've pretty much mapped this thing out. I have an amazing team of partners. Even the extension of the core group, with PR and creative directors, and just have a really, really solid team. And so, yeah, we've mapped out You know, which record is going to come next, which record is going to lead into the album, which record is going to push socials. Yeah, we have a full mapped out plan that all we have to do now is just abide by it, and we're doing that.
What I love about this album, it has a lot of great substance, say great storytelling, the wordplay is on point, and everything. And I thought to myself, I said, this is what's needed, because a lot of times you see, for up and coming artists, they have albums out, but it's like it still doesn't really stick,
Yeah,
and stuff, and it doesn't hit you and everything. Cause I always say, like, like if you have a party song, if you can't make a kid dance to your song, that's a problem. Sound like you're doing something wrong, and everything. Uh, how much involvement in the writing this album, you put in? Was it like a cell phone or was it like a collaborating people?
collaborated group. Myself, Black Elvis, Felly the Voice, Al Jamal, Anthony Smith, Jay Bush, Tario. It was a collection of about 7 of us, and we just got in the lab and allowed our gifts and talents to lead us. We wasn't going to force anything. If we got there and it didn't work, we all went home. But if we got there and something really, really was brewing, then we gave it the necessary time. And I'm so proud that we weren't rushed, that we didn't have any deadlines. We could go in there and just be free. Um, and I'm really proud of what we came up with.
Absolutely. Uh, like, yeah, before you wrap it up, you got like up and coming solo dates as far as like performances?
Yes. My website is itsqparker.com, and on the website, I have all of my tour dates, where you can find me, how you can pull up on me. So yeah, man, we're gearing up for an end of the year, top of year tour. And yeah, man, and just my motto is brick by brick, and we showing up every day, putting one foot in front of the other, shaking one hand at a time, kissing one baby at a time, and solidifying myself in the conversation of some of the best male R&B vocalists.
Absolutely. Before you get off here, you can promote, so your podcast, and tell people, where to follow you at on my end.
Absolutely. I am at Q Parker 112. The official website is itsqparker.com. The album is titled Evolution of Romance Volume 1. The pre-save is up and live, so you can go on wherever you stream or download your music, any of the DSPs, and pre-save, because come midnight 11:14, you will have this Volume 1 of Evolution of R&B.
That's it, man. Shoot. With that being said, thank you for taking the time coming on here, man. You know what I'm saying? This is like one of my biggest interviews of 2025. And looking
Wow.
forward, man, for more from you, man, in the future.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you, Rashad.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you have a blessed night. And with that being said, we are out of here, y'all. And big shout out to everybody taking the time on here, leaving comments and stuff, man, and enjoy this interview. So on that note, we out of here, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
You got it.